like a sort of modern fairy tale. And I think a lot of times those types of stories get relegated to children's literature or young adult literature, or sort of like dismissed as such.
Yeah.
And this is a really good evidence of like they can be amusing for all kinds of people, which is like a what do they call that? This is my box, my talking box, milk box. Do you know what I'm talking about? Soapbox. There we go.
It's a soapbox.
Why did I say milk box?
I don't know why you said milk box. Is it milk crate?
A milk crate?
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Tales of Our Times. This is a show where we discuss the stories that move us, what makes them so meaningful, and why others should find meaning in them as well. This is not a spoiler-free show, so bear that in mind as you continue listening. We tackle movies, books, comics, and more. Where there's a story, there's a reason to read. I'm your host, Michelle Chang, and joining me today is my guest, Amanda Stevens.
Yes.
Why have we switched places today?
Because what makes it into the final version of the show for like what story impacted you the most in 2025,
Right.
and also what story are you looking forward to the most in 2026, is which stories usually I think will make a better discussion.
Right.
But for the month of December, I usually prepare by talking to a lot of different people.
Oh, yes.
About like, oh, what's your favorite story? And then that draws out what's my favorite story. And so by the time that December 1st came around, there wasn't enough time to put my story in there. Plus, it's not usually my thing to do. I'd rather talk to guests instead. But I realized I was so obsessed with this story that I wanted to talk about it.
Yes,
so I was like,
course.
please interview me actually, because I want to talk about this story a lot and I didn't get the chance to. And it's my show. So I want to do that.
Everyone should have a chance to talk about their story, including yourself.
I really want to talk about it.
Yeah, yeah.
It made a really big impact on me. I've given it to 2 people and had them read it and they finished it and they really liked it.
So what story is this that you have brought for us today?
I want to talk about Butcher of the Forest by Primi Mohammed.
Ooh.
It's a short fiction.
Okay.
And it is my favorite story of 2025. It might be my favorite story of like the last 2 years. Certainly my favorite book that I've read in the last like 2 years.
Okay.
Even so. It's very short.
All right.
That's like the extra detail you would need to know because
How short is very short?
like 120 pages.
Oh, okay.
Like you could finish reading it in a couple of hours. That's like what my attention span has become for media in the last like year. Is I usually need to read something that's like not that serious or something that's not that long.
Right.
Because like I just need to take a brain break, and we read a lot all the time.
Yeah.
We read a lot all the time, and I love reading. But if I'm going to read a physical book, which I actually did, not an audiobook, I usually prefer short fiction.
Yes. Yeah. At this point, I'm the same. I don't have the spoons.
Kind of.
The patience?
It's kind of spoons. It's
All
not
of it.
quite focused because
Yeah.
it's like that's part of it. But it's also like I can focus on something, but like my job now consists of a lot of reading.
Okay.
And so in my free time, like I want to do something where, I don't know, I'm a little bit more active,
Yeah.
or like this might sound weird if you don't have a desk job, but like I'm looking at something that's farther than 1 foot away from my face.
Less screen time, basically.
Not just screen time too, but it's like I need to practice looking at things far away and like just being in the world. So
Go out into the world.
right.
So please summarize
The Butcher of the Forest.
The Butcher of the Forest.
Yeah. Okay, so I will do it. I'm going to say this story is a like fantasy horror book.
Oh.
And so I'm going to summarize it, but I'm going to do what I hate when guests do and leave out the last part, but only because this book is very short. So I think just about anyone can read it in a few hours.
Okay.
So The Butcher of the Forest is written sort of like a fairy tale where you do not get a lot of names. And when I say it's written like a fairy tale, I mean like the world exists and does not explain why it is this way. It just is. So similar to like when you go to a fairy tale and suddenly Little Red Riding Hood is just talking to the wolf. There's no reason or need to explain that.
Yeah.
It just happens.
It just happens.
And that's the setting of this story, which might be like a little bit jarring at first, but gets to one of my favorite things about it, which is that it's very quickly paced. So I'm saying this because the summary is going to be really short. The book takes place in one day. At the beginning of the day, the main character, Varys Thorn, who is an average woman who lives at the edge of the forest, which is also called the Elmeaver, is taken away by the Tyrant. That's his name.
Okay.
The Tyrant conquered this area a few years ago, maybe 10 years ago at most, in a very bloody takeover. She's just one of the villages that got squashed. And they were, at this point, they've been conquered many times. So they didn't even put up a fight.
Yep.
She lives alone with her aunt and her grandfather. Everybody else in her life has died. A tyrant drags her before him, and he tells her, "My children have gone into the forest. I've been told you're the only other person who's gone into the forest and come out and survived.
Oh.
You have to get them for me before the day is over, or I will kill everyone you know."
Oh.
So Varys doesn't really have a choice.
Yeah.
But she does try to tell him, like, people don't really go into the forest. And he's like, yeah, but you did, and you came out. Do this for me, or I kill your family.
Okay.
And so that's her
Thanks.
incentive.
Yeah.
She goes home. She grabs like a handful of tokens, and she has no choice. The tyrant has people literally outside her house.
Yeah.
She's like, I need 2 hours. Her family's like, well, what are we going to do? He's the tyrant. Good luck. And she takes this handful of tokens. They're just like small little meaningful things to her. So one of them is like a hand carved, I forget the animal, a little perfectly square brick of coal that she found as a child. And there's another one that I don't remember right now.
Okay.
And like a sandwich, and like her adventuring clothes, which is just like leather boots, a warm jacket.
Totally.
That's it. And then she goes into the forest. And the forest, or the Elmeaver, is this very old place that is a forest up to a certain point and then sort of becomes alive. And think of every kind of fairy tale, dark, spooky forest.
Okay.
And everything like that exists here. And you never know what is a real animal that we would understand versus what is something that has a greater intelligence than it appears. And the forest itself is also alive.
Sentient.
And it will be moving around you, and the denizens of the forest will be assessing you. And they sort of exist as like fey creatures and or monsters. And so using her tokens, Varys makes her way through the forest, and she encounters several denizens of the forest, but no denizen of the forest is ever helpful just for being helpful's sake. But she does eventually manage to bargain and like just sort of wean her way into where the children are. They've made their way into the heart of the forest, where they were kidnapped and they're being sold to another denizen of the forest, which is how she finds out that children here are sold to new parents in the forest. She is able to bargain for them, but then she has to run through the forest with these 2 children, and the denizen who wanted to buy them is angry and is now pursuing them.
Yeah.
And will kill her to take back the children that he bought, because they are his children now. And it's kind of unclear whether or not these children are, the denizens take them in and it's sort of like pets, but it's also not a good relationship.
So they're not pets. They're more like property? Amusement?
Think closer to pets.
Okay.
Think closer to pets. You own your pet. If someone took your pet,
I'd be mad.
Right, you would probably chase them down.
There would be a John Wick situation.
Right. But these creatures are not, they're not fairies in like what you would imagine as like a leprechaun or something like that. It's like, this is a creature that is horrible to behold, can and will kill me, and is more powerful than me, and resembles different facets of nature. So for example, she encounters one denizen of the forest early on who is like half rabbit and sort of like, I believe, if I'm remembering correctly, kind of like half corpse.
Oh, okay.
And very intelligent, but he was the helpful one.
Okay.
But I might be getting that confused with like there's like a whole corpse field that comes to life somewhere in the middle of it.
Okay.
There's a bunch of everything in the forest is bad.
So it is horror.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is horror.
Yeah.
And so she gets the children. They manage to escape from the denizen that wanted to buy them. And then she has to try to get them out of the forest because time moves differently in there. And she gets very close to the end of the forest with both children, and she's racing the clock and also racing these kids who, like, they're very young. One of them I think is like 6 and the other one is like 12 or 8 and 12.
Young. I mean, that's not young enough to like.
But they don't know anything about here because they are children who've been raised in the palace, and this is a local superstition, and their dad is the tyrant. He doesn't belong here. And so they're young and they have no idea of anything here.
Danger.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, and they're also kind of like they've lived a cushy life.
Yeah.
So she's racing the clock. She's racing with these kids. She's trying to get them out and survive. And she makes it out of the forest.
But
not with both kids.
Oh, no.
And then you have to read the book. And you have to read the book.
Oh, no.
You have to read the book.
Okay. All right.
I'll say that.
All right.
But also as you go through the forest, it's kind of like a fever dream. of like encountering new things, because even she doesn't know what to expect in the forest. It's always changing,
Yeah.
and you never want to encounter things there.
Yeah.
So you're always looking to avoid them.
Dark magic
And
forests.
literally, there is no good creature for us humans in the forest.
Mm-hmm.
There are things that you can bargain with for something you want, but there's nothing good or helpful there. There's like, at best, it's neutral, and usually they're trying to trick you.
Right.
And this even gets down to like the trees and like the environment around you. And so
I love these vibes.
it was such a good book and incredible, because again, the whole book takes place in one day, and it feels that way. Like the pacing is incredible. I literally just couldn't put it down.
Excellent. And because it's only 120
It's
words,
like
you said?
around 120 pages.
Oh, 120 pages.
It's really short.
It's a quick read.
It was great. This was my this was my vacation read. That's how I encountered this story.
Yes.
Was that
What on which vacation?
the last one that I took to the U.S.?
Oh, the U.S. Nice.
Yes,
So that was your first
That was-
encounter.
Yeah, that was my first encounter. On the first day that we actually weren't traveling in the States, my baby sister took me to a really big local bookstore, and my boyfriend and I just bought several books to read while we were there.
I miss bookstores.
I miss bookstores where I speak the main language. That's on me. That's on me.
The thing is, in bookstores in Taiwan are really they're like department store sterile.
It's not a pure bookstore much of the time.
Exactly.
So this is a really old, like, pretty well-established bookstore in Seattle.
Yeah.
It's Elliott Bay Books, I believe.
Ooh.
And we just spent like an hour and a half
Yeah.
just like looking around for books. And I got 2 short horror books because I wanted something that would fit in my purse easily and not weigh me down. And then I got one very large but very famous horror book that I'm still reading through.
Nice.
I haven't finished. But I read that before I left. I actually finished both of the shorter books before I left. But the first one I just read in quick, immediate bursts. Like I literally couldn't put it down. It was so good.
You needed to consume it.
Yes.
I love it.
It was so good.
So, well,
What made it so meaningful to me?
well, we have a number of questions here that I'm supposed to be asking you. I'm looking at it. I'm looking at the script right now. Why do you care about The Butcher of the Forest?
I love this book, and I personally care about it because I really love fairy tales and myths and legends, and this is like, if I went into higher education, this would be my focus, and it was already my focus when I was in education.
I think that was the very first episode you came on Geek Out to talk about.
It was.
Yes.
And I would do it again. I have so much to say about
So
these.
much.
But I also really like horror, which has come up. You know this. We talk about this all the time on our other collaboration. But what I really loved about this was how it sort of makes real this idea. Like, the fun thing about fairy tales in general is that is what I said at the beginning, that in a fairy tale, there is no real need to explain why something happens.
Yeah, it's a fairy tale, so it just happens.
That's just the way it is.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
magic is just every day. But that also means that we don't always like experience the fear that is inherent in the story, including like we read things and we understand that characters find them scary or don't find them scary, but it doesn't explain why or how, like a novel or even like a legend or anything else like that, right? So if we were to use, again, like Little Red Riding Hood, a girl who goes in the woods, why does she just start talking to a wolf? But she gets there, she gets into the house, and she's talking to the wolf, and we can understand that like she's probably scared because we see through the logic of her questions that she's noticing more and more worrying things.
Exactly.
Right? But the story is never going to explain that.
Yeah.
The Butcher of the Forest kind of takes that idea and puts you in the position of the main character and sort of makes, like, really runs with that idea of not needing to explain anything, but just having things happen and exist. And also, you're now in the position of the main character, where
Is this first person?
not exactly, but it's very close third person.
Well, okay.
Either way, like you're put in the
Very visceral.
Varys's like shoes. And also it sort of plays in, like, the best way I can describe it is that it plays in a space that I only really see in magical realism, where the whole kind of trick of the genre is trying to get you to pick a side, like, is magic real or not?
Yeah.
Is this just a coincidence, or is this a real thing that happens? And the Butcher of the Forest is everybody says that these things are real and these things are bad, but you're still kind of in that weird position. Like there's even conversations where people directly address, like, I thought magic wasn't real. And everybody says it isn't. But then like the forest moves on its own and you're tripped up or a fog appears or like a creature that shouldn't exist and has multiple heads is like talking to you. Right. Or then like your magical token moves in the right direction that you should go apropos of nothing. But everybody's like insisting like, no, magic's not real, witches aren't real, everything else like this. So it kind of puts you in that position of, for a really long time, not knowing whether or not all of these things people say about the forest is real. And there's also this like tension through the whole book of the forest remembers Varys Thorn.
Oh, from her previous trip into
Everyone and everything in the forest remembers Varys Thorn, and you have to also try to learn what happened on her first trip as you go through.
That's
so
cool.
For me, it's like a lot of these concepts being realized. And also, again, the fact that it's so short, like it sort of gets to something I think that gets lost on this show sometimes, which is that the value of a story is not defined by the length of the story.
Yeah.
So that might be one reason I think it should be a tale of our time.
It suits, as you say, because it is only one day. It happens in one day. And if the pacing is this urgent, this quick.
It's really rapid. It really, it feels like if this were a person, it would be holding your hand and dragging you along.
Oh,
it's sprinting. You have to keep up with it.
Love it. So your next question says, why should others care about the Butcher of the Forest?
Or in other words, why should it be considered a tale of our time?
Yes.
That might be it because of one, I think it's a fun, maybe fun's not the right word. It's not a fun haha time, but it's a fun, very entertaining time as like a sort of modern fairy tale. And I think a lot of times those types of stories get relegated to like children's literature or dismissed as such. Yeah. And this is a really good evidence of like, I think all these stories are appropriate for everybody. So that's one of them. But honestly, another one is because of like what short fiction it is. And sort of like trying to, and giving it off to people as like, you will enjoy this and it's not going to be long, but it is a really good story. Yeah. And it's going to make you sit and think about all of these kind of like different elements, right? So you may not feel satisfied when you finish it, but I think that satisfaction isn't necessary for a good story because it kind of makes you, it makes you revisit the material. And like, it's a very good book to talk about. And again, just going back to that idea of the story is not long, but especially for people like you or for me or for other people out there who might be a little bit frazzled, you kind of want to escape. It does still feel like escapist.
Yes.
It's really good. There are really good character payoffs in the story as you sort of understand everything that happens and there's nothing extraneous. Right. Because it's so short. And I think that's really fun.
That is really fun. I mean,
it's really fun. Everything is really important.
It's an extremely entertaining time packed into a short book.
Yeah. And remind yourself there are really good. There's really good short fiction out there. Yeah. This is a
often overlooked
example of it.
Exactly.
Yeah. I just really love this book.
If you could give The Butcher of the Forest a single one-phrase subtitle, what would it be? I kind of want to borrow this book.
I'll lend it to you.
Okay.
You can finish it in an afternoon.
Cool.
And you'll be the third person.
All right.
And everybody out there should read this book.
Okay. There's no cannibalism in it, I assume.
Depends. Hold on. Let's not say no. Depends how you view the denizens of the forest.
I see. Okay.
And whether or not they are the same or not. But no. I would say, The Butcher of the Forest, A Fairy Tale of Loss.
Oh.
It's good though.
Oh, I'm excited. I'm borrowing it and I'm reading it.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's really good. Oh, Michelle, thank you.
Of course.
You're the host. I know you're going to outro, but I have to say thank you for interviewing me because I was incensed I didn't have an opportunity to talk about this, frankly.
And whenever Amanda taps me to come host, that means she really, really wants to talk about the story. Anyway, so thank you, listeners, for joining us on Radio Taiwan International. This has been Tales of Our Time. Indeed. I'm your host, Michelle Chang, with Amanda Stevens.
Hello.
And I hope you enjoyed learning about The Butcher of the Forest.
A fairy tale of loss. A tale of our time.
Bye.
Bye. We'll see you next time.
Catch the latest RTI news, programs, previews, and more on our website, rti.org.tw. That's rti.org.tw.